What's up, guys? It's Brian from Hasher Hub. It's about 9:54 a.m. March 13, 2018. We got a trading video here for you. But if you're first new to us, we do a bunch of technical analysis here, which I think is pretty damn good. Others do as well. Take a look at the comments down below, and we'd love for you guys to subscribe to us. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Subscribe to us on Steemit and DTube. Links are down below for Steemit and DTube. I understand DTube hasn't been working all that well lately. We'll also be posting our YouTube videos there too. So anyway, let's get right into it. Not much really to say so far. Our last video pretty much covered everything that we pretty much would say here, other than the fact that we are getting a little bit more bearish. We're definitely getting a little bit more bearish. You know, the market had run up here. We wanted it kind of really to hit this 9,500 level and really stay above it. It kind of kissed it. The high it got was about 9,482, spot 79. We really wanted it to stay above 9,500 in order to kind of confirm kind of more of a bullish trajectory to this market. But it kind of just kissed it and came back down. So the way in which we are looking at this thing, it looks like also this this bearish flag. This is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming down, and this is the flag right here, is becoming more and more in effect. I drew it yesterday, not really thinking it was, it looked like it could possibly be something that could happen, but didn't have a ton of confidence in it. But clearly, obviously, it's totally conforming to that, to say the least. And that's kind of what you need to do within technical analysis. You need to draw a bunch of things and kind of see which way the market is going based on your predictions. And this right here is case in point of exactly how to go about doing that. So, what are we looking at within inside here, right? So normally with a bearish flag, you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can count this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, right? And normally when that happens like this, that we have a spike, and then it normally doesn't get to the top, and then it comes back down again. That's normally the way that works as far as that's concerned. But also what we're looking at this as also as an ABC, right? Because if we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming down, and then we have we are looking for an ABC, right? So we have A, B, and C, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw that really quickly. I deleted some other stuff that was here. It was just giving some further finer counts, but all basically the same thing, right? So A, B, and C, right? So that's what we're looking at, A, B, and C, and this is for the bearish count again. A, B, and C. So then we're going to have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming down. If the bearish count really is a thing that's alive, right? So I'm going to delete this real quick. So in the event that this is really a 1, right, and this is 2, well, then we would be looking for an ABC that's inside of this, right? So normally with the 2 wave, it's normally kind of more of a simple ABC, and for the 4 wave, we have more complex correction patterns. So let's say this right here, this is A, B, and that we would have some sort of a C, so up here, down here, maybe right here. So that very well could be this very well could be the ABC. It's kind of big for this one leg down. So another way in which we could go in ahead and look at this, let's zoom in a little bit more, is we can have oh, come on, let's do it here. We can have an A, a B, and we had a C, right? And right here, this is maybe the beginning of the 3rd wave. So this would be 1, this would be 2, and it would be the beginning of the 3rd wave. This right here leads me to believe that maybe we are looking for that previous ABC, because I'd imagine this would have run a little bit further before we had some sort of a larger correction like this. So it could be either way, or it could not be this at all. We could still be kind of in a bullish count, albeit very odd and very weird. And maybe pushing some of Elliott wave theory strict rules, but still that very well could be the case. So yesterday we were kind of going over a 1-to-1 extension. Let's say we had so remember we have this again on the bearish count, we have this large ABC, A, B, C coming down, right? So we were thinking that if we had a 1-to-1 extension based on the length of this versus the length of this, maybe saying that this is the same length as this length right here, that we would have C somewhere around 6,400 and let's call it about $6,500, right? I don't remember the exact number we were talking about yesterday. Let's say 6,450, somewhere around there, right? So Now in the interim, remember this was made up of a zigzag, right? So there's basically 5 waves down, an ABC, and 5 waves down. So that's what we're thinking this also could possibly be made of, but it doesn't have to, right? It could just be made of 5 waves down. So what happens if it's just 5 waves down? Where are we going to end up, right? So let's go ahead and use a little Fibonacci retracement. And so let's say this right here is the top, right? The top of the 2 wave. And so, a 1-to-1 extension brings us down to about 8,344, right? And that very well could be the bottom of the 3 wave, right? Where we then make a 4 wave up, and then we'd be looking for the 5th wave. And the 5th wave would be somewhere around, the 7,647. Okay, that's one way to go ahead and look at it. That for this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming down. A more bearish scenario is the scenario that we had mentioned yesterday. Okay, where we have this Y and this C down here. Okay, so those are kind of ways to go about trading this thing. One way to go about this is I would go ahead and I would look and I would draw, and this has been around since a long time, but you would look to see that the market would basically drop below this, call it about 8,755 level, right? Which is basically the bottom of this candle right here. Okay, you would look for it to drop below there, and then target about this 8,344 level. That's one way to go about doing it, and shorting it on that basis. So, as far as Laguerre basis, we're looking at this on a 30-minute basis. It's gone from oversold territory. It's leaning, and now it's running back up. 1 hour, it's on oversold territory right now. 2 hour oversold. It's running back up. 3 hour oversold. 4 hour oversold. 6 hour, from overbought to coming down to oversold territory. Let's look at things on a daily basis really quick here, okay? On a daily basis, so right now we have kind of a very doji candle. It is a doji candle, and so that to me basically says indecision. Oh, one thing I forgot to do. We'll get back to that in a second. So it just really basically just tells me indecision. We have kind of these 3 candles kind of coming up, even though this was a down candle. We do this kind of is an upward trend right here, right? So we have the moving average, 200-day moving average of about 9,044. So that's again an area I think we do need to protect. Okay. Let's go ahead and look at this on an hour basis again. I forgot to update something. So on a as far as all resistance and support lines, we're keeping them the same way except for the 1 hour basis. We're thinking 1 hour basis. Now we're going to bring this down to 9,409. Okay, 9,409. 9,409, and this just tends to tighten things up here a bit. So if we're going to moving up much higher above it, then maybe we'd be looking for more of a bullish count. The 4 hour support, we're kind of keeping it the same as it's been. It's about 9,146. I know it's not really acting as support right now. It's acting as resistance, and that's the reason why we're keeping it in. But the reason why I'm calling it support is because that's the way we had brought it up from the beginning. All right. On the RSI, we still have these 2 lines here that seem to be making a lot of sense. The market has run up above it, tested it, came back down, ran up above it, bounced off it, kind of tried to run back up, ran below. Now it ran above it. Now it's coming back down. So clearly it's testing this RSI basis right here. So I'll leave this line up right here. This line I drew is actually 8,755, spot 71, but somewhere around there, okay, is where I would be looking to go ahead and short if the market came down here handedly, and I would put my stops, pretty close above it, right? Because we're in pretty much indecisive, territory right now. Reason being is we've been kind of having a lot of sideways momentum. I do believe though that there are a lot of shorts that are lining up. I think everybody is looking to short the hell out of this, and sometimes with that when that happens, the fundamentals of the market change. Why? Because everyone's short, right? And the second this thing shows that it's moving up a little bit, everybody starts covering, and when they start covering, everything starts running up. Okay, we have a huge run up. Okay, and that's when things can change quite a bit. What I am noticing though is that we do have some greener candles here. We have some larger green volume candles here, but it's not able to really do very much work. So that maybe, you know, maybe people are recognizing that, and this thing is going to fall off. So I'm looking as if this thing is going to fall off. That's my idea. That's what I believe is going to happen. If I'm going to bet it, then that's the way you know, I would bet. If somebody would say, you know, is it going to go up or down, I would say down. But at the same time, a good trader is able to think quickly on its feet. So if this runs up, you know, hey, okay, we're up on bullish territory now. So you know, everything changes, and you need to be able to go with it. You need to be able to go with the flow. Basically, you need to be able to kind of see the various different points, make the arguments from both sides in order to be able to be profitable. Don't stick to what you think is going to happen just because of the fact that you think it's going to happen. You know, you will not be able to stay solvent for very long. So anyway, that's really about it for right now. You know, there are a few other things we could say, but I really just want to see what goes on in this market right now. And that's about it. Happy trading. Speak to you guys soon. Thanks.